Welcome to the 10th episode of the QCAT podcast, where we talk about technology and cybersecurity and the future of smart cities. I'm Alessandra.
I'm Sebastian.
And this is our CAT. In this episode, we're going to talk about CAT's products because we've been mentioning them in these episodes, but today we'll go a little deeper into what each one is. And we want to start with the foundation. What is the technology, the infrastructure that supports all the products that QCAT runs?
We should start with OT-OCN. As we mentioned in earlier episodes, OT-OCN is the data protocol. That is an alternative and an improvement over the internet protocol used today, TCP/IP. OT-OCN is our backbone. It's the technology that supports all the products we're developing. On top of OT-OCN, we built CAT AI-ONE. What is QCAT AI-ONE? It's the technology that makes OT-OCN work inside the products. In other words, the integration of artificial intelligence inside the established and well-defined protocols and guidelines.
Today, having artificial intelligence integrated into the tech is very important for how the world works now. So yes, we continue with CAT AI-ONE, which is like the umbrella for all the products that CAT offers.
And some of the main features of CAT AI-ONE include integrated deep profiling, integrated machine learning, and cybersecurity. That is unmatched thanks to OT-OCN. All of that makes it a much more efficient, safer, faster system. We always say this. And here is the technical justification.
It is also scalable and suitable for mission-critical use. Everything is priority A.
That is why this infrastructure, this architecture, is integrated across all the products and allows all the products to be integrated so that all the products are top tier and really have no point of comparison in the current industry because everything we know is built on TCP/IP. We work with something better. After OT-OCN comes CAT AI-ONE, which we can think of more or less as an umbrella. Under CAT AI-ONE are the applications of this technology. And we can divide them into two. On one side, we have cybersecurity, called CAT SI, security and immunity.
And on the other side, we have solutions related to crypto and smart currencies.
So starting with the cybersecurity solutions, which we said is CAT SI. What is CAT SI? CAT security and immunity. What is security and immunity? Security and immunity. What do we mean by that? That we do not offer products. We do not offer security as an add-on to existing technologies, but rather our security is integrated from the infrastructure design thanks to OT-OCN and CAT AI-ONE. So we deliver immunity within cybersecurity that has no comparison.
Now, we have the specific products that we are going to thoroughly discuss within the cybersecurity branch, focusing on their features, which are AMMIT, ANUBIS, and VORTEX. After covering cybersecurity, we have 3 products, as we said, but we're going to discuss the 2 that could be like siblings, so to speak, which would be AMMIT and ANUBIS. The difference between AMMIT and ANUBIS in hardware, since both are physical products, lies a bit in the role and the use case. At what scale these products are used. So, do you want to talk a bit about those differences?
Yes, mainly keep in mind that when you're talking about cybersecurity and a hardware product for cybersecurity, you're talking about something that protects the flow of data going out from and coming into the server. And for that, the scale of the operation will determine what you need, whether you need something smaller or something larger. In this case, AMMIT is designed for more domestic and smaller environments, homes, smart homes, offices, small offices. Anubis, on the other hand, is a device that handles a larger scale and is intended for IT storage, building control rooms,
and banks. At an industrial level, anything requires bigger scale.
Yes, one is for domestic use, AMMIT, and the other is for industrial scale. Why these two products? Why AMMIT? Why Anubis? Both follow the same principle applied at different scales. And some of the differentiating values are: first, sovereignty, which lets you control your cybersecurity yourself without relying on a third-party service. We also have what we mean by security and immunity. These are cybersecurity systems that are immune by design. We also have a very important differentiator, which is zero-day immunity. Immunity to zero-day attacks in cybersecurity.
And I think it's important to emphasize the topic of sovereignty as we've been discussing, because being able to control your cybersecurity in a company or at home, being able to control and secure it yourself is very important without having to depend on third parties. Both.
Anubis and AMMIT give you that. Now let's move on to VORTEX, also known as the black hole vault. The black hole, the safe, which is
a black hole. What can we say about VORTEX? We also call VORTEX a black hole because it's like a vault, and in this vault, once you put files in, the information you want to store, so to speak, disappears from the outside world. It's something only you control, and it's ultra secure. That's why we call it a black hole. Nobody knows where those files are, what they look like, or what they contain, except for the user. So it's a huge advantage in terms of security.
Yes, mainly because, as we've mentioned in previous episodes, our zero visibility isn't just a concept we're selling, it's a reality. Why? Because hackers work with the TCP/IP protocol, and here we are with a cybersecurity system based on OT-OCN that promises this zero visibility. They can't find it, they don't understand what they're looking at, just like when you see a black hole and have no idea what's inside.
So, without visibility, there's no attack. And moving on, let's set cybersecurity aside for a moment and step a bit into the world of crypto and smart currencies, starting with our smart currency, the reason for this podcast, the reason for the CAT, the reason we exist, QCAT. We've already talked a lot about QCAT as a smart currency for real-world solutions, real-time applications, mission-critical work, a currency that doesn't just have value as stored value, meaning money that simply accumulates while the stock market drops or other crypto markets fluctuate, but instead it's a crypto that has practical value in the real world, in smart cities.
Do you want to add something to that? Yes, its practical value exists now and we'll see it become even more relevant as the world continues to move toward adoption of smart cities and smart industries, and automation and scalability. The key thing is scalability.
And of course, with other cryptos, the scalability and speed needed to carry out those transactions between autonomous devices just don't exist today. So QCAT is that solution. It offers the scalability, speed, and security that are needed. For this world, we're seeing more and more. On the other hand, we have the wallet, our new magic solution, which would be ALADIN. And what is ALADIN? It's a virtual wallet, but not just a virtual wallet. It also has artificial intelligence built in.
And with that, we can also say that the system we described earlier, our technology, allows our virtual wallet and transaction speed. For example, to keep gas costs minimal. Why? Because the transaction is almost instant. And this applies not only to QCAT, but also to other currencies that can operate by integrating with our blockchain, WebChain, to make transactions. What does that mean? It means you can send a fraction of any currency to person, and because it's instant, the gas cost will be minimal zero. And that means you can enable microtransactions for domestic use, person to person, directly, without relying on exchanges, banks, or fees. What mean? If you have dollar, you can send Bitcoin.
And you just have to simply rub the magical lamp. Speaking of essential services, along with ALADIN, we have a transactional service specifically called BitcoinExpress. And what exactly is BitcoinExpress?
ALADIN is wallet. BitcoinExpress is service for transactions. What does BitcoinExpress promise? Bitcoin, in name Express, for fast, immediate transaction. Enabled by our blockchain, WebChain. Why? You want to send me 1 Bitcoin. But on any exchange, thank you. But on any exchange, that operation is slow. Because the time it takes to confirm the addition of that block to its blockchain is very slow. Until that confirmation, the transaction doesn't go through. Our service speeds up. Why? Because it scales thanks to WebChain. So you give your Bitcoin. I, as the Bitcoin Express service, wrap your Bitcoin in our WebChain, and we bring it into our blockchain, into our infrastructure. And that allows that Bitcoin to move like this. Fast, fast, done. And once it arrives, it's settled. It's simple. It takes us seconds.
And beyond that, we don't depend on banks. We don't depend on third parties that don't. Take responsibility for anything that might happen during that outsourcing process. So, it's a secure, scalable, fast, and generally reliable service.
Yeah, the 2 strongest options dominating the market today are what? Exchanges when we're talking about crypto, and when it comes to fiat money, SWIFT.
And they still charge you high fees, right?
Yeah, not just the fees, but exactly that. Besides the outsourcing problem, for example with SWIFT, communication from one bank to another is never just bank to bank. It goes from a bank through other services, in the middle before it finally reaches the other bank. So if any issue comes up, nobody knows who's responsible, the money gets lost, where it ended up, and it can take weeks or even months to get an answer if you get.
And the fee they charge you is high, right?
And the fee is always high. Instead, here the important thing is that gas fees are practically reduced to a minimum with very high speed, and the fact that it's peer-to-peer. There's no one else involved, and no need to bring anyone else in.
No intermediaries.
Exactly. It stays just between you and me.
This has been a summary of our products. There's more to say about each, but the idea is to make this more digestible and easier for you. And, in fact, we have several products and concepts on the way that are becoming real in other kinds of products. So stay tuned and join our Telegram. And we will see you in the next episode of the QCAT podcast. Thank you very much.